It's time once again for more FoodSpace. All things food and drink, restaurants, travel, recipes, and cooking tips. There's something for everyone. Taste, sip, learn, and laugh along with us. And now it's time to get into his space, FoodSpace. Here's your host, Chef Michael Glatz.
Hi, and welcome to FoodSpace. It's my space, and I want it to be your space too. Thanks for watching and listening. Be sure to join my YouTube channel, FoodSpace at Chef Michael. Subscribe to the channel so you can see the show live. And of course, the shows are archived there as well, so you can watch them at your convenience. Today, I'm opening a series talking to chefs. And with me today is my good friend and local Vero Beach chef, Scott Varricchio. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thanks for having me, Chef.
It's an absolute pleasure to be in your presence anytime, especially in your dining room.
I like that.
Which I can't be for a while. You had every chef's worst nightmare come true a couple of months ago, didn't you?
We did. We had a fire. Yeah. We had a kitchen fire.
Wow.
And it is what it is. You got to learn to live with the punches. Take a silver lining on anything you can get. Luckily, nobody was hurt. The building is structurally sound. But we had a fire, and we lost everything. And I mean everything. Yeah. Every wall, every ceiling, every floor, every piece of equipment. The walk-in, everything was gone. So we had to strip the building down to 4 gray walls, a gray floor, and a gray ceiling, and start over.
Start all over again. Wow.
It's not fun. You know, what it does is when it happens, you're in a little bit of shock, and I've been told I was somewhat catatonic for a couple days afterwards. But it changes your life dramatically, and it changes your staff's life dramatically.
Sure.
You know, you go from being the busiest week of the year, Easter week, to not working. It shocks the system.
Sure.
And it took a while to adjust to it. And you've got to put your boots on and realize, all right, there's work to be done. Let's get it done. Right. And so that's what we're in the middle of right now.
Great. Kudos for you for seeing the silver lining. Because that's
you've got to find that.
Yeah.
You know, other people could say, "Oh, woe was me. I lost my restaurant." Well, you want to know something? We're going to be back. We're going to be better than we were.
Yes.
And we have to make sure that this downtime from myself, my managers, my bartenders, my cooks, we get better.
Sure.
You've got to be a better representation of yourself than what you were prior to. Keep learning. You never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
You know, complacency, you're going to get run over. I'm not complacent. Not at all, as you know.
Absolutely. I know that well. You know, and restaurants are such a family. You know,
very
we
much
spend
so.
more time with our employees and the guys behind the line and the folks in the dining room than we do with our own families.
You know everybody's idiosyncrasies. You know when they're happy, when they're sad, you know, their birthdays. It's a tight family, and you count on everybody in that family to do their job to make the machine run right.
Absolutely. Well.
And blissfully, I've got a great family. Both personal life and professional life. The staff that we have at Citrus, I'm blessed with. You know, I moved here from New York City where the talent pool is deep. It's deep.
Yep.
A little different down here.
Very different.
And I think that over the years, I have come to get a staff that I would rival any that I've worked in with before. They're great. They have my back.
Excellent. And I'll second that. You know, one of my favorite things about your restaurant, and there's so many of them, but is hospitality.
It's important.
You know hospitality. Your staff knows hospitality. You've obviously they're trained and you're constantly on them and they're passionate about what they do. It shows.
You know, it's a very simple mindset. Each day before service starts, the whole staff sits down and we talk about the night service. Who's coming in? What specials are we running? How busy are we going to be? But there's a common thread, a common mantra. And it's like, all right, guys, this dining room, this is your house. Your friends are coming to dinner. How are you going to treat them?
Absolutely.
Pretty simple stuff.
Yeah, yeah. When you put it that way, it is simple. But not everybody gets it in other restaurants. But
pretty simple stuff.
That's amazing. So let's talk about the downtime. You've got some busy plans coming up. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, trying to make the most out of the bad situation, it's very common. Let me drive back a little bit. In France, years ago, there was a term called stage. It's spelled stage. And I know you know what this is, where cooks would go and spend a week or 2 weeks or whatever at other restaurants around the country or other countries learning from chefs that they admire.
Right.
And they don't get paid for it. They've got to pay the travel, pay the hotel. You know, it's on their dime.
You do it for the experience. And to learn.
You are going to see something different from what you do, and usually at a higher level. So I am very blessed that I was able to land a stage at what I consider to be one of this country's best and most important restaurants, the French Laundry in Yountville, California, which is right in the heart of Napa Valley.
Absolutely.
You know, they have a brand new kitchen. They opened that up last February. It was a $10 million expense just for the kitchen alone. So that should tell you the seriousness that they take their food.
Sure.
And so I sent a letter. They responded back, which in itself is a miracle given how many requests they get for cooks or chefs to do stages.
Sure.
And usually they're much younger cooks than I. You know, I am zeroing in on 60, and usually these guys are zeroing in on 30.
Right.
But, you know, I don't want to stop learning. Thomas Keller, through Per Se, through the French Laundry, through his chain of Bouchons, to me, is the top of his game in this country and possibly in the world, as you know.
Sure.
And to be able to go and spend some time there is a blessing, and I will take away from it as much as I can and bring that back here to Vero Beach.
Excellent. What an experience that's going to be.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to kick around San Francisco for a couple of days prior to, eating well, just, you know, making the most of this downtime, because I will never have this much free time again until I retire or die. And I'll probably die before I retire. So I've got to just keep learning.
You're learning, you're making the best of it, you're rebuilding, you're keeping a sense of family.
Have to.
That's all really exciting.
Have to.
And those of us here in Vero Beach can't wait until you reopen. And now with your stage, you know, we just know, because I know how chefs think. I'm one of them. You know, we've got our, I know your hopes and dreams and all that's going on in your mind right now during this downtime.
It's a lot. You know, I've also, you know, decided that, well, okay, I've got the food part of it down, so let's do something with the pastry part of it. My favorite chocolate, and maybe yours, I don't know, is a chocolate out of France called Valrhona.
Absolutely.
And I know you use it at patisserie.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Well, they do a very intensive chocolate school for 12 chefs a couple times a year in New York City. And I go up there in about 10 days for that. It's chocolate boot camp,
That's
for
awesome.
lack of a better term.
Right.
And I want to make myself a much more well-rounded chef than the one that experienced the fire on March 27th.
Sure. And, you know, most of us as savory chefs, pastries are not our pastries, desserts, sweets, chocolate is not our strength. It usually is something
Well, the
kind of off to
first
the
5
side.
years of my culinary career, I was high-end pastry. And then I changed to food. The mindset behind that was, if and when I ever get the chance to be my own boss, I want to rule everything.
Sure.
I don't want to just rule food or just rule pastry. I want complete control of the kitchen. And I can do both. And I'm very blessed by that.
Excellent. I don't know if I could go to Valrhona boot camp. I think I'd come back a little heftier. Than...
Oh, I'll be a fat pig when I get back.
Just give me a bag of Mangiare. It's like popcorn. I can sit and eat it while I'm watching TV.
Mangiare is so good.
Right.
For people who don't know what that is a bitter chocolate. It's called a pistol. It's a big chip from Valrhona, and a lot of the high-end restaurants across the world use Mangiare as their go-to chocolate.
Right. And if I find people get confused about chocolate, when I tell people, you know, my favorite chocolate is Valrhona in France, and they're like, chocolate grows in France? I thought, you know, it's really interesting how people don't understand that it has to be processed. You know.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Huge, like coffee, there's a huge process in taking the.
And there's great chocolates. Guittard is great, and, you know, Calibo and DMG out of Germany. There's great chocolates, but I like Valrhona.
Sure, absolutely. And once you try some of that, you never go back to the supermarket chocolate.
Oh, never.
There's a huge difference. Well, this is exciting. I love you're an inspiration. Your excitement, your energy, your enthusiasm is just truly inspiring.
Well, you have to take it, again, you've got to take it as a blessing. You know, we were 8.5 years old, and, you know, I don't want to say we were old or dated, but there always are things that you would like to tweak when you get to that point in the life of a restaurant.
Sure.
So we're going to change the look. We're going to lighten it up. I don't want to say more formal, but a little more formal looking.
Yep.
I'm going to, you know, we had the gem to me of the restaurant was my wooden floor. It was the one focal point that everybody knew. Well, that's gone. You know, when you dump 50,000 some gallons of water on a wooden floor, I'm not going to make it.
Right.
So that floor had to go. And everything's going to be new. The look's going to be new. The menu's going to be all new. One thing we can't do is we can't open up after maybe a year of being closed. Great new look, same menu. That would be a fail.
Right.
We've got to have everything new.
Yes.
We want diners to come into a new environment, a new restaurant, and really enjoy what we've worked on this year for the community's pleasure.
That's great. And they're going to be so excited.
You know what's funny is I go to Publix now almost every day because I'm like an Italian grandmother. I go to the market to shop what I'm going to eat for that day.
Yeah.
And not every day, but almost every day, somebody who I do not know comes up to me. When are you going to open? How long is it going to be, Chef? And I'm like, I'm actually taken aback and very flattered by the community outreach and how kind they've been and the words that they've said about what we do. Yeah. You don't expect it, especially from people you don't know, but I can't know everyone that comes into the restaurant. It's a couple hundred people a night, sure. But they know my face. I get that. I'm the face of the restaurant. And it's truly heartwarming to think that the community is really waiting for us.
Yes, and we are. And big project, what you're taking on. I mean, you're really starting with a vanilla space once again.
Basically,
from scratch.
It was a bigger job than the initial build out because everything had to be torn out. All the ductwork, all the hood systems, all the plumbing, all that had to be gone before we could even start. So it was a bigger undertaking than the initial build out.
Right.
The hood system alone, God bless its soul. When we had the fire, the hood system was what contained the fire. The fire never breached the ductwork. You would never know there was a fire in there. There was no smoke damage. Water was the crusher, but this hood system was the main component in us saving the building. And so now, actually yesterday, they started to take it out, and you see just how well built it was and what it means to a restaurant to be preventative. What we're doing in the future is something that no other restaurant in the county and very few in the state has, is we are putting in what's called a core system, where in the body of the hood system, every so many feet, there are sprinklers. And every night at a delineated time, these sprinklers will come on with warm water and a bit of degreaser and solvent and clean the hood every single night to help be preventative in any more fires engaging. And it's an expense.
Sure.
It is a big expense, but we want to be on the forefront of safety moving forward.
It's so important. People think restaurants are just food and cooking, but safety, fire systems, all this is
You
so
have
important.
150 guests at any one time. That has to be your number one priority.
Right.
You have to look out for their well-being. And anything that we can do to be as proactive as we can to not have any incidences is what we'll do. If it costs more money, so be it. We'll do it.
Wow.
And we are.
Yep. So much to think about.
It's more than people understand.
Yeah.
And I've got a good team, that works with us now. We have a core team that works every single day, sit around just kind of picking each other's brain, commiserating, thinking ideas, and hopefully we choose all the right ideas.
Good.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but you never know, right, until you get there.
That's it.
You put your best foot forward. So the question everybody's asking you and me and everybody in the community is talking about, when? Do you have any sense of an idea?
I do.
And I know those things change.
When we first had the fire, we were hopeful that, all right, let's look for Halloween. So this is going to be a holiday-based answer.
Yeah.
Halloween went to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving went to Christmas. Christmas went to where we are now, and hopefully where we'll stop, Valentine's Day. That's what my gut tells me. That's what the contractors are shooting for. Is it later than I want? Yeah, it's a lot later than I want. But there's a lot to be done.
A lot to be done. And
So-
you're going to do it right.
Without a doubt.
Wow.
Without a doubt. It's a long wait. It's almost a year from fire to reopening. And you just do your best to keep your sanity, keep your staff engaged. You've got to obviously find some new staff, but I've been very blessed with my staff saying, we want to come back almost in its entirety. the community of restaurants here, which this business that we're in is a very incestuous business. You all know one another's business.
Right.
But from day one, most of them hired my staff without even an interview. You worked at Citrus, I'll hire you. And I'll let you go when you've got to go back.
That's fabulous.
You can't pay for that.
No, you really
can't.
You really
That is a community, restaurant community, and a community, Vero Beach, chipping in to help someone that needed help. Can't pay for it.
You really can't. You know, a lot of chefs or restaurants in different places of the world might being closed for so long would fear, you know, losing momentum and having not only to do the rebuild from scratch, but having to rebuild their client base from scratch. Whereas I think you're building momentum even while you're closed. We
are keeping engaged with as many customers as we can, and like I had mentioned, making ourselves better. Better bartenders, better floor managers, better cooks, better head chef. We're going to be a better version of what we were when we opened, and we're changing the name.
Oh, there's a surprise.
Something you didn't know.
I did not know that.
Not a big change.
Okay.
But if you think about what we called ourselves before, Citrus Grill House. If you were in town and say, hey, where are you going tonight? I'm going to Citrus. No one said I'm going to Citrus Grill House.
True.
It's just going to be Citrus moving forward.
Excellent.
Make it a little bit simpler.
Excellent.
You know, is it a big change? No, but it's a small change.
Yep.
But it's something that we thought about.
Sure. You're putting thought into everything.
Yes.
Excellent.
When we came up with the name originally, the Grill House meant to be a less formal name. Grill House, you're thinking steak, maybe a burger. There's no true formality to it. Well, we want to up the formality a little bit, and so we'll just go with Citrus. I like it.
Excellent. So my last question for you, it's actually a statement. You're not taking away the truffle fries, are you?
You know what's funny is we thought long and hard about taking them away. We truly did, for the main reason of being proactive and getting rid of anything that can cause fire. And as you know, fryer is basically a metal drum with a flame underneath it full of oil.
Right.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And then if I took away the truffle fries, which I think I'm a pretty good cook, but I'm known for a damn French fry. If I took away those French fries, those truffle fries, I'd be lynched. I would be lynched.
I'd be out there with my signboard. Bring back truffle fries.
We bounced this off of a couple people, and they looked at me like the RCA Victor dog looking at the monophone like, are you nuts? So no, they will be there. My burger will still be there.
The best burger I've ever eaten.
And after that, everything's fair game.
Great.
Everything.
Great. Chef, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate your time, letting me get my word out and speak the gospel a little bit of what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. We look forward to your reopening. We'll keep in touch.
So do I.
Great. Thank
you.
Stay tuned to more Food Space. We'll be back with another show.